What's up, everybody, and welcome to Buzzworthy TV, and I'm your girl, Lady T. So, we are going to get into this mess in regards to Tamron Hall and this messy interview that she had with Angela Yee, and how it spiraled out of control, and how she's now being compared to the new Wendy Williams, okay? But before we get into that, I'm going to need you guys to do me a few things. Number one, like the video. Thank you. Number two, subscribe to my channel. And then number three, drop a comment down in the comment section. Thank you so much. Okay, so you guys know that we are on a road to 1,000 subscribers. And we are also in the midst of a giveaway. And to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel so that we can get to those 1,000 subscribers. And then also leave a comment in the comment section so I can know who you are. And so you can be selected for the giveaway. Now, once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I will randomly just select anyone that has left a comment in the comment section to show them a token of my appreciation, okay? Well, now with that being said, ooh, let me fix my hair, y'all. Now with that being said, let's get into this mess. Now, I'm pretty sure, because it's been all over the blogs, all over Beyonce's internet, about Tamron Hall's interview with Angela Yee. It happened about, I want to say a week ago, okay? Or, a little over a week ago. However the case, she did an interview and went on Tamron Hall's show to discuss her new show and everything. And it got on the subject about how she felt about being the only woman on the Breakfast Club and her experience. Okay, now this went viral because Angela Yee felt as though, she wasn't being respected as being the only woman on the show. So before we dive into this mess, we're going to hear what Angela Yee had to say on Tamron Hall's show, you all. So let's get into it.
That will always be a part of your legacy. And one of the things I was always struck by was the fact that you were the lone woman. Mm-hmm. And whenever there was a controversy with Charlemagne or DJ Envy, there were people who held you accountable in their minds for their actions. There was the interview with Lil Mama, a rapper, Azalea Banks, an entertainer, and Monique that come to mind, where people felt that Charlemagne was being misogynistic in his tone and that you should have somehow wrangled him in. I firmly disagree with that, because you're not there to police them. But people held you accountable for things that the guys, as they wrote in one article, did. Right. How did that make you feel?
And I wasn't even there when they interviewed Azalea Banks. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But I also feel like, sometimes I would feel like I got it harder than he did for something that he said. And so I also want to make it clear that we're all three individuals. You say what you say, feel how you feel, and I do too. But it's hard because people affiliate you with the whole group. Yeah. And that was part of why I really wanted to have my own show, because now what happens, I'm accountable for that. Yeah. But when you have three people with three differing opinions or three different viewpoints and completely different personalities, we're all individuals, but sometimes it's hard for people to...
A part of that will always be...
All right, y'all. Wait, there's more, okay? There's more, because it gets deeper. All right, let's continue.
You did, because you were the lone woman on this show, with a lot of bravado, with a lot of edge, disruptive, and that's why millions of people love the show. It seemed to me that people were always riding you.
Yeah, and I was the only woman who worked there too. I mean, when it came to producers, camera people, and it wasn't an easy room for me.
I didn't know that.
So I feel like I did need more backup, because even things that I felt, as a woman, it is, you know, if somebody can't understand your point of view because they're not coming from where you come from. And so that was hard for me too, to be the only woman there with nobody to be like, check somebody, you know, you shouldn't have said that like that. It's just me. And there were times I did do that behind the scenes because, you know, we should be able to do that. That's part of what it is. I'm not always going to agree. But it's hard when nobody's like, you know what, she's right. Or let's all have a conversation about this. It's just kind of like you say what you say and then...
Did you find yourself fighting for respect from the...
Okay. So that was the gist of what she said in regards to her experience in regards to being on The Breakfast Club. Now, in certain aspects, because, you know, I like to see both sides. In certain aspects, I do see where Angela Yee was coming from. Her whole thing was, you know, when you're the only woman surrounded by a whole bunch of guys, it's kind of hard to be heard. Okay, because, and it's not just about being a woman. It's whenever you're the only one and the majority is against you, you're not going to be heard. Okay, so I can understand that. I can understand her feeling a certain way about things and then not being heard because she was the minority. But her exaggerating that, oh, it was, you know, I was really one of the only few women there. There were no women producers. There were no this or no that. You know, with hardly no women working for the, you know, working at the radio station. I don't believe that. I really don't. And so this started a whole big thing over on Beyonce's internet, okay? So, even DJ Envy, he started getting in the comments section talking about it's not true and this and that. And it's like, I get it, DJ Envy, you don't want to be associated with being misogynistic and you don't want to be associated with something that you deem to not be true. But if that's her experience, let her have her experience. We all know that she's exaggerating when she said basically she was the only woman there. We know she's exaggerating. But we also know that at sometimes she probably felt isolated around you guys because, like she said, you all had different opinions, totally, completely different personalities, and she's the only woman. So she felt alone. Now, do I agree with her exaggeration? No, I do not. But I'm not going to not allow her to feel how she feels. I'm a big believer in you can't tell nobody how to feel. Okay? So with that being said, that's just my opinion on what Angela Yee said in regards to her opinion on working at the Breakfast Club. Well, this spilled over, like I said, since it was all over Beyonce's internet, it spilled over to a conversation on the Breakfast Club. Now, Charlamagne, he was like, listen, I'm not even going to address it. He felt like, listen, I'm not going to dignify that with a response, and it is what it is. DJ Envy, like I told you, he was all over the blogs and the comment section, so of course he wanted to address it. But then Portia was on the show as a guest host, because you know now that Angela Yee has left, the new thing at the Breakfast Club is they switch the female host. It's a rotating female host. So Portia's time is on there right now. And she's a Kiki. I love her. I'm telling you, Portia's media is definitely in somewhere in entertainment. Probably, I really do like her on stuff like Dish Nation, The Breakfast Club. So anywhere where I want to say like in radio or anywhere like in broadcasting, I think she'll be good. She does great commentary. But anyway, Portia had her own feelings in regards to the interview, and she was stating that, you know, that possibly Angela Yee kind of got pulled into a subtle little trap to kind of throw the Breakfast Club under the bus. And so we're going to get into what Portia said about how she felt like Angela Yee got drugged into dragging the Breakfast Club. And also, she's going to discuss her experience on the Tamron Hall show. And this leads to how Tamron Hall was compared and slated to be the next Wendy Williams. So let's listen.
About the book to her, kind of almost attacking me, almost making me feel like
okay, here we go.
Probably had a chance instead of talking to Tamron, she would have been able to expound on that. But when you have someone like a Tamron talking to you and she's giving you accolades and she's, you know, raising you up to do nothing but set you up to say something that's going to be catchy and she can look like a journalist, then that's where you find Angela in this place, you know, trending for the wrong thing.
What you said just now is interesting, Portia, because I feel like Tamron Hall and her producers got together at some point and said, look, Wendy Williams is leaving, so somebody on daytime TV has to be messy. Because it feels like Tamron has been being messy on that show lately. Is it just me?
Hidden mess.
Okay.
It's a hidden mess. I went on Tamron's show and I was so excited. Okay, I mean, she's a beautiful black woman. She's, you know, branched off, got her own show.
Absolutely.
I did not necessarily feel supported on her show.
Really?
Did I expect her to agree with everything? I was promoting my book, The Pursuit of Portia. I didn't expect her to agree with everything. But there was a turn where it turned from just, if she probably had a chance instead of talking to Tamron, she would have been able to expound on that. But when you have someone like a Tamron talking to you and she's giving you accolades and she's, you know, raising you up to do nothing but set you up to say something that's going to be catchy and she can look like a journalist, then that's where you find Angela in this place, you know, trending for the wrong thing.
What you said just now is interesting, Portia, because I feel like Tamron Hall and her producers got together at some point and said, look, Wendy Williams is leaving, so somebody on daytime TV has to be messy. Because it feels like Tamron has been being messy on that show lately. Is it just me?
Hidden mess.
Okay.
It's a hidden mess. I went on Tamron's show and I was so excited. Okay, I mean, she's a beautiful black woman. She's, you know, branched off, got her own show.
Absolutely.
I did not necessarily feel supported on her show.
Really?
Did I expect her to agree with everything? I was promoting my book, The Pursuit of Portia. I didn't expect her to agree with everything. But there was a turn where it turned from just, if she probably had a chance instead of like I had to justify anything that I had going on, and it just didn't feel good. Just her asking questions about the book to her kind of almost attacking me, almost making me feel like I had to justify anything that I had going on, and it just didn't feel good. Just her asking questions.
Okay, sorry you all. Just wanted to hear that a couple times so that we can fully understand where Portia was coming from. So Portia, like I said, because this whole thing with Angela Yee's interview on Tamron Hall, it exploded. And so it spilled over to the Breakfast Club. And that was her take. Her take is that, yeah, it was an awkward interview. Yeah, she threw y'all under the bus. But the reason why she threw y'all under the bus, this is all Portia's opinion now, is because Tamron set her up to throw you all under the bus without Angela even knowing it, because Tamron has a way of building you up, making you feel like you're going to be comfortable, to set you up to say something, as she says, catchy, or as we say, viral, or for clicks and views. So that's what Portia is accusing Tamron Hall of doing. Now, Charlamagne the Guy brought up a good point, and this is why I titled the video the way I did, because he said something that really stuck out to me. He said, I feel as though the producers were like, Wendy Williams is leaving and we need somebody to be messy on daytime TV. And I kind of feel like he's got something to that, okay? He's on to something, because if you really think about it, Tamron has a way of doing that, okay? I don't know if she does it intentionally, but she does. This is not the only time where it seems as though she tries to build people up for something, for them to say something that'll go viral, or to catch them up to say something that they're not fully comfortable saying, or saying something that could not make them or put them in the best light. I remember an interview that she did with Jasmine Guy in 2021, and it was the same thing. And so I'm going to play that, and then we're really going to talk, okay? Okay, you guys. So what we're going to listen to when Jasmine Guy had came onto her show. She had come to promote Harlem. You know, she was so excited. Harlem had became this big hit and she was just excited to come and talk about it. And who wouldn't? Like Portia said, who wouldn't want to talk to Tamron Hall? She's a beautiful black woman. Her show is great. She's this amazing journalist. So of course you want to come and talk to her. But let's listen to her interaction with Jasmine Guy when she brings up Jasmine Guy's financial struggles in the past. And you tell me, do you see a trend? Okay? Here we go, you all.
Jobs, and we have to focus on.
Here we go, you all. I'm going to play it from the beginning.
One of the things I've always admired so dearly about you, other than obviously what you do on air, is that you were so fiercely protective of your private life. You got married, people didn't know, I understand that, and then you shared it, and then you had a public divorce and had financial struggles as related to that. And you opened up about that, and I was always curious why you wanted to be that vulnerable, or you needed to share that part.
I didn't need to. It was forced upon me. I mean, I felt like I got outed and therefore had to address some of the issues that were going on, not only with the divorce, but with me having to recuperate financially from it as well.
Which I think is a big moment, a big teachable moment for all of us. I mean, you talk about this show started at the pandemic when millions of people are out of jobs, and we have to focus on life and say, okay, if I don't have a job, do I still have purpose? Do I still have meaning? And so here you were, a really famous person, but now financially struggling. And you learn the meaning of life is not the money.
But money provides security.
Absolutely it does.
I mean, I didn't want money to go shopping. I wanted me and my kid to be okay.
100%, right.
So,
but you
and I have a lot of love in my life. I have a lot of support. Sorry.
No, I wasn't prepared for this because I did not bring this up.
Because it's a
painful
horrible feeling not to feel like you're going to be okay and you'll be able to take care of your kid. That's real simple.
You did.
With the help of her godparents, my parents, all my friends, my sister, you know, the love in my life is very strong.
And our love and my love for you is real. And so to see you sad was not the reason
I was
I
really
asked.
happy before we started.
No, okay, don't say that. No, let me be clear. No.
I'm not really comfortable with still talking about it because, but I know how many people suffer after a marriage or their family breaks up, and I don't mind sharing it. It's just now that life has looked up for me, it's hard to go back there and remember how painful it was. And a lot happened during the pandemic to a lot of us, and I wasn't used to having a collective, angst-ridden, depressive world. I was used to having that by myself, doing what I needed to do, and then going back out into the world, but it just felt like everybody was going through this kind of what's happening.
Okay. First of all, shout out to Jasmine Guy. Number one, she's a talent. Listen, I'm not even going to say a talented woman. This lady is a triple threat actress, singer, dancer. Like, come on now. We're talking about the Jasmine Guy. Like, listen, I love Jasmine Guy. I'm an 80s baby, so anything from the 80s and the 90s, I love, okay? So shout out to Jasmine Guy, an incomparable talent. And not only shout out to her talent, but shout out to her strength and her vulnerability. And to go in there and just answer them questions. Because like she said, even though it was uncomfortable and even though it was making her sad to talk about it, she knew a lot of people had gone through the same thing. So if her story can uplift anybody, she's going to go ahead and talk about it. So shout out to her for going ahead and just being like, you know what? This hurts, but this could help somebody else. But the reason why I played that is because I saw that then. I'm going to be honest. And I love Tamron Hall. I'm not saying that I'm not doing this video because I'm not for Tamron Hall. I support her. I do. I see what she's doing, and I see that, you know, she's a black woman that's really trying to get it out here and really trying to be successful, especially in a field where she's a minority. I mean, she had to break a lot of barriers. You know, she is, you know, she's not a blogger. She's an actual journalist. So hats off to her. But I do feel as though what Portia is saying, I get what she was saying in regards to Tamron Hall, because she's a journalist, has a way of making you feel comfortable, or as Portia said, building you up just to tear you out, just to tear you down, to say something that'll go viral or get clickbait. And so that was the first time I saw that. I saw that interview with Jasmine Guy in 2001. It was the end of 2001. I was like, Tamron, you saying that wasn't your intention, but you saw how that subject. Let me fix my hair, y'all. I'm sorry. That subject was breaking that woman to even talk about it. But you knew what kind of reaction that would have garnered, because you wouldn't have brought it up. She's there to talk about Harlem, but there you go talking about, oh, you got married and we didn't know about it, and then, you know, you did finally come out about your marriage, and then you had to talk about your financial situation, and hats off to you. Girl, really? You don't think that that's just going to make her feel upset and dredge up all that? Especially, like she said, it wasn't just a messy divorce. She literally was out here broke. Like she said, if it wasn't for her family, her daughter's godparents, and things of that nature, who would have known where she would have been? Okay? So, yeah, that stuck out to me when I was listening to Portia talk about Tamron Hall. And then when Charlamagne said that about how he feels as though she's getting messy because there's a void in daytime television that was left by Wendy Williams in regards to the mess. Because Sherri Shepherd ain't gonna give us the mess. She's all fun and laughs. Supposedly, okay? But enough of that. I'm not going there about Sherri. But, because I like Sherri. I do. I just feel like she'll do better on her podcast. Like, girl. Anyway. But I'm just saying this to say that I do think that Tamron, because she is a journalist, she does like Wendy Williams does in regards to asking the questions that certain nosy people want to know. But because Wendy Williams went to school for journalism, but Tamron Hall made a career out of journalism. So she knows how to word the questions a little bit different, and it's not as abrupt. Like how Portia said, it's like sneaky messy. Like where Wendy was upfront and in your face, where you, as soon as you agreed to go on her show, you knew what you were getting. Tamron Hall, you tend to expect something a little different, but honestly, it's just, for what they're comparing it, it's just Wendy Williams and a nice, pretty gift box. It's just Wendy Williams dressed up. And I do believe that because, as I stated, she made about to call this lady Wendy Williams, because Tamron Hall made a career as a journalist. She knows how to answer the questions and present it nicely and still be messy at the same time. So yes, I do feel like there's a little Wendy in her. But I believe there's a little Wendy in all of those journalists. That's why I don't understand why everybody was coming after Wendy. Saying, oh, she messy. Oh, she is. She's a horrible person. She's getting what she deserves. I'm like, but what about all the people in the comment section? Or what about all these people who run blog pages or who work for blogs? Or all these people on YouTube or anybody that's on social media right now? And again, journalists like Tamron Hall who can be just as messy as Wendy Williams, but they just know how to present it better in a prettier package. Shoot, like I tell anybody, everybody talks about Wendy Williams in regards to her interview with Whitney Houston and how messy that was. Agreed, it was very messy. But however, she was not the only one that ever brought up Wendy Williams' drug use or her dysfunctional marriage or any of that. I mean, prior to her even appear on the Wendy Williams radio show, she had just did the Diane Sawyer interview where Diane Sawyer basically sat up there and interrogated her about her drug use while holding up pictures. But nobody wants to talk about that because she presented this pretty package. So, me personally, as much as I love and support Tamron Hall, I do think she could be a little bit messy. And now, can she be really compared to Wendy Williams? I think that's a reach. But I do see why Charlamagne said what he said. But that's just not Tamron Hall. To me, that can be any journalist. Like I said, Diane Sawyer did the same thing. When I watched that Whitney Houston interview, I'm like, oh yeah, you being messy. Yeah, you definitely being messy. And shoot, Barbara Walters used to make everybody cry, okay? But no one wants to talk about that. So, yeah. I do think it's a reach to liken her to a Wendy Williams. But, yeah, there's definitely some elements. But that element is there for anyone that deals with any form of journalism, whether you are a actual journalist, whether you're a blogger, whether you're a social media influencer, anything that deals with content. I believe that there's always an element of a little bit of messiness. It's just the way you present it. So in that aspect, I do agree with Portia and things of that nature. And I do agree with Charlamagne when the producers were probably like, yeah, we need a little bit of messiness. There's no messiness in daytime TV. But again, that wasn't a stretch for her because, again, anytime you deal with content, you got to be prepared to be a little bit messy. But you guys, let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think about Angela Yee's interview on the Tamron Hall show. Do you believe that she threw the Breakfast Club under the bus? Do you think she was trying to play victim? Because we all know Angela Yee was not innocent, okay? She was not innocent. It's been a lot of things that she set up there and allowed to happen. So she's not innocent. Do you believe that Tamron Hall is just a classier version of Wendy Williams? Or you just think that this is just part of the game when you deal with any form of journalism or any form of content? Leave it all down in the comment section. Till next time, you all. Peace.